All right, traders, what I'm going over today is going to make you a lot of money when you can recognize this and map it out. So for the past 12 months during New York session, every time this one thing happens, price expands either up or down. And it's not sometimes, it's every time. And almost nobody is waiting for it. I'm not saying the markets can't change. I'm not saying this works forever. I am saying that during the New York session, when price accepts outside the outer VWAP bands, expansion follows. And let me show you how this rule works. This is not middle VWAP, okay? This is not mean reversion. This is not the first touch. This only works at the extremes. Here's the rule. There are only 7 steps. We trade only New York session. We ignore middle VWAP. Only watch the outer VWAP bands. Price breaks outside the outer VWAP band on the second or third attempt. Price comes back down to retest that VWAP band or up to retest the VWAP band. In the second and it usually after that, it will move to the liquidity level. All right, now let's go ahead and explain how that works. But first, let me fix myself out of this trade because this is a sticky situation. I need to get back to break even right here, y'all. This is breaking down. Now, this is the last zone, 25,900. If we're gonna drop and come back down into this range down here, we gotta drop under 25,900, guys. Okay. So right now, let me see if I can squeeze my little butt out of this trade since it's getting under VWAP, and I don't like that. So let me go ahead and boom. See, I was able to. Thank God, I'm able to get out of this trade, not too bad, scathed here. Okay, because I bought in at the right levels, guys. Okay, so hopefully we can continue to trend up now, and maybe that's just the low here, and keep blasting up. There we go, gentlemen. All right, hopefully that's the situation there. Whew, that was close. All right, sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to make this video, and I'm actually doing a little bit of night trading right now. Okay, so, all right, let's get back. Let me explain exactly how this works. First, I'm going to eliminate all the noise here on my screen. So, eliminate. We're going to clean things up here, guys. We're going to clean it up. All right. Now, all we have now are the non-VWAP bands. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the lowest band. Okay, that's standard deviation -2, standard deviation -1, middle VWAP. If price is above here, we go up. If price is below here, we go down. If price is in between here, we range. Okay, we trend when we're in these two, we trend up, meaning price goes, look, trend up here. See how this was trending? It's just in these two bands. And when we're trending downwards, then we're in these two bands, and all the bands are actually pointing down when you're trending down. But since you're trending up, the bands point up. Now it's looking like it's turning to like almost a range because the bands are going sideways. So when the bands are going sideways, okay, or horizontal, then you're in a range. You just kind of range up and down. And that's what I think is going to happen tonight, is that we're going to range, in between this bottom VWAP band from today's earlier session and possibly get up here to the 650. Maybe we don't get past what is this, 26,112. Okay, because I think it was last Thursday or Friday, this is a huge area right here, 26,100. So if we can get above 26,100, okay, and hold, then I think for sure we're going to keep trending all the way back up towards all-time highs. Okay, so mark my words, mark them, because that's exactly what's going to happen, guys. Okay, I'm not telling you maybe, I'm telling you that's what will happen. Okay, now let's go over this strategy that will make you a lot of money. Okay, so we're going to explain the VWAP bands. Every session at 5 p.m., you get brand new baby VWAP bands right here. And throughout the session from 5 p.m. today, all the way until 4 p.m. tomorrow, these bands are going to slowly expand and get bigger and bigger. How do I know that? Well, it does it every day. Let's look yesterday, 5 p.m., February 1st. We had little baby VWAP bands right here. But then slowly they start to expand. And what happens is you expand to this up outer band and you reject it 2, 3, 4 times. And then boom, you come down. You try to hold support here at the VWAP and you can't. And then what happens? You start trending down. And so when you're trending downwards, the bands go downward. Okay, and you stay in these two bands, the lower two bands, -2 and -1 standard deviation bands. And you will always trend down until you get back up above this band right here, -1 standard deviation band, and you start to hold support and get over VWAP and so forth. Okay, because once you get back over VWAP like we did right here, okay, you're looking at my cursor. Right when we get back over VWAP, hold support, boom, then we change the trend and we start to go upward. See? And now we're in these upper two bands, and now you start to trend upward until you can't anymore. And then now you're just kind of ranging right here until price kind of figures out, what we're going to do next. Okay. All right. Now, so these bands formed. And basically what happens is, every time I ran all the numbers for like the past month of VWAP, and I ran it through ChatGPT to give me an actual percentage of how many times this works. And he gave me a percentage of 89 to 92% of the time this works. Okay, so 100% of the time if you know how to identify it, because I think 100% of the time, and I'm going to show you how and why I think this works 100% of the time. So if we look at the previous day VWAP bands, it's here and here. Every time we get underneath this area, the previous day VWAP band, you always expand downward. And look, we did. Boom, we expanded downward. Look how many points is that? If you count 572 all the way down to 376. Okay, how many points is that? 3, 4, 5. That's like what? 200 points? 5 to 3. That's a lot. Now I know we didn't kind of gap down here at open, so it really doesn't count the full 200, but you get at least close to 100 points here. And then again, when it happens and you stay below this lower VWAP band, okay, and you can't get back above when we come back, and we did get above here a little bit, but then once we fell back down under again, count these points. Look, you got 558, or sorry, 572 again, and then count this, 572, look, all the way to 219 before we got a nice kind of pump up, and then all the way down to like 180, I think 172. Whew. And look, every time you get underneath this band and you can't get back up in this range, you dump. Okay, so that's one time, right? So let's check another time it happened. Okay. Okay, we stayed in. So that this lower band lined up with this one, so it worked on that second time. Okay, so let's check. When we broke under here. Yep, look. So when we broke under this VWAP band, look guys, we broke under this VWAP band, what happened? Boom, flush. See, people are missing these huge trades right here that I'm trying to explain to people. Look, you got under here, what happened? Flush. Okay, so now we're 3 for 3. Let's check again. 3 for 3. Oh, look, here's a band right here. We got above this previous day VWAP band. Boom, we squeeze all the way up. 4 for 4. We're 4 for 4. Let's check another one. See, we couldn't hold above here. We couldn't hold. This is where you sell. You usually on the first attempt, it always rejects. The second attempt, it usually rejects. By the third attempt right here, we got up. This, you had a decent move here. Let's count how many points. So we had, what was this, 26,021, and it topped off at 26,104. So, I mean, that's a good 70 some points, 74 points more or less. Okay. I mean, shoot, guys, that's not bad. 74 points. I mean, that's a pretty good expansion move. Okay. But it didn't hold. It ended up when we get back in the range. Okay. If we get back in the range, we fall. We fall back down to the bottom of this zone, most likely. Okay. So we didn't, well, actually we did end up kind of holding right above it. Look, and then you can use it as a guide for a bounce, for a support level. Because every time we got kind of close back down to it again, we kind of bounced up and created this trend up. Okay, so what are we? 5 for 5. 5 for 5. Let's do another one. Okay, look. Here's another one. We got above, boom, expanded upward. How many points is that? Let's see. So we tried to get right here. We rejected. On the second one, we blast through. Okay, so it's 854, and we topped out at 931. So that's almost 100 points again, guys. Another 100 points right there when you hold above the upper or bottom VWAPs. Okay. All right. So we're 5 for 5, 6 for 6. I'm losing count because it works every single time, guys. It works every single. Look, here's right here. We almost came all the way to the bottom of it, but no, held support, and then what? Did a double bottom, and then you went all the way to the top of it right here. Boom. Okay, right here, what happened when we broke out? We came up, we rejected on the second attempt. This time we broke through it, and then how many points is this? So 740. We got 740 to 843. All right, that's 103 points, guys. Every single time. What are we? 7 for 7? 7 for 7? Look, same thing here. Look, we got above it, rejected. And second time we came up, blasted through it. So what's it? 617. And then the high of this was, that's over 100 points, guys. 120 some points. Okay, what am I? 8 for 8? 8 for 8, guys? 8 for 8. I'm telling you. Look, right here. Look what happened. We kind of, on the first attempt, we couldn't hold, guys, and we flushed, okay? Look, first attempt, we got above a little bit, but we couldn't hold, so what happened? We fell all the way back down to the range. All the way back down. Held support here, and as long as you hold support on this purple one, okay, -1 standard deviation, as long as you hold back here, you're going to, swing back up into this area again. Happens every time. But we held, and then look, then we, on the second attempt, how many points did we get? So we got Doom. 434 to, I mean, that's 200 and some points right there, guys. Okay. I mean, every single time. Look, we broke under here. Boom, flush. Every single time we broke under here. Boom, gap down. Okay, we're here at the bottom. Trend all the way back up, but look what happened when we break right here, guys. Boom, how many points is that? It didn't do it on the first one, it came back, but on the second one, it came back down, okay? So the second attempt here, how many points? 714 to 591. Guys, come on. That's a lot of points. To 591. I mean, that's 100 and some points, guys, okay? I mean, look at this. Look every single time. Look, we broke above, boom. Look at the expansion. We break above, boom. Look at all these points here, guys. Look at these points. And then you use it as a support. Okay, every single time. Look what happens here. Look what happens here. Boom. Can't hold this prior day VWAP. What happened? Boom. Flush all the way down here. These are the big moves, guys, because what you're doing is you're transitioning from one range, okay, and you're magnetizing to a whole nother range. And so that's the expansive move that everybody's missing over here. Look, in this here, what was this right here? 725, 685. Same thing, 685. Where do you think it bounced? 685, right around here. We're here, there. Look, that's where we're bouncing, guys. People are missing this, and this is a huge moves. Okay, so the first touch, people test the fence. The second touch, more pressure. The third touch, boom, the fence breaks, and that's what's happening. You'll touch, second touch, third, boom, or second, boom. And every single time, look, we broke above this VWAP right here. Look, what happened when we break above this VWAP? Boom, all the way up. What am I? 12 for 12, 13 for 13. We broke under this VWAP. What happened? Boom, all the way down here. We broke again below this VWAP, okay? On the second attempt, this was the first attempt. On the second attempt, the mover, boom. So guys, if you go back, boom, boom, it just doesn't stop. It's over and over and over and over. Okay, and see how big this is? So what happens? You range in here until you break here or there. You do not move out of here or here until you break, okay, above here or there. And then you create a new one. So now what happens is when you have a small one within a big one, what happens is this level, now when you break above here, then you extend up to here before you can get the real breakout. So keep that in mind too, okay? That can happen. But anyways, that's the strategy. I want y'all guys to know what I'm looking at, what I'm seeing, how this is working. And it works look right here. What happens? The first attempt, no, you bounce up. The second one, boom, that's the move. The second or third touch, guys, that's the move. That's what you need to be looking for. And sells on the first attempt or buys at the bottom on the first attempt. But the second or third is the move, guys. And it's once you break underneath, and you don't get back. If you get back up above here, then you're back up in this range. You got to stay underneath that VWAP, and that's how it works. And I'm telling you, I mean, you just check right here. 100% of the time it worked. 100%. Okay, so if you know how to play it right, 100% of the time this is going to work. And nothing in the market works 100% of the time except for my strategy that I'm telling you right now that God has given me, that I've worked very hard to find out by the grace of God. That's how, guys. Not me, by Him. I don't want to take any glory, but yeah, putting the work, and those are things I notice. That's how you can get the big expansion VWAP move, and that's when you don't worry about the fade back down to VWAP. Okay, because always you're looking for the fade and the balancing out. But the time you don't get the balance in the market is when you break these bands. The most upper VWAP band, the most upper outer VWAP bands, and the most lower bottom VWAP bands. You get those expansion moves. Nobody on YouTube's telling you this. Nobody on YouTube's talking about this. There's one guy that talks about, the movement in between here, but he doesn't explain how you can trend. When you're trending up in these two bands, you're in a trend up. When you're trending down, he doesn't explain that. He doesn't explain the expansion moves out of these bands when that occurs, when you hold outside of these prices, how you can get these huge expansion moves and trends into different ranges. Nobody's talking about that, okay? So I hope y'all guys are paying attention, okay? And what's going to happen here? Same thing, guys. We're going to expand out, okay, into these VWAP zones, okay? These are upper outer VWAP zones right here. See, boom. That's why I have it on my freaking chart, guys. These lines, especially the blue ones, the most important on my chart because they are telling me, like this one. What is this? Guys, this blue one is the most important. This is all-time highs. And the minute we get above this, don't be going short. Don't be selling short when you make all-time highs and you hold above here. See, that's when people go wrong. You don't want to be selling short when you're at all-time highs and you're holding above all-time high upper VWAP bands. You want to go long because it's just going to keep squeezing all the way up here in the kingdom come. It never comes down. Never. Not until you get back underneath here. If you get here and you get back underneath and you come up and you reject, then you want to get a sell and write it down. That is how you trade. You don't go up here, oh, we're at all-time highs, let's get shorts. No, because it's just going to keep going. It never stops. You only want to get shorts or sells when you go up, you come down, you go back up and you can't get past here and you're like, ooh, then you start making lower highs. Then you get a sell. That's your confirmation to get a sell and write it down, guys. That's how you trade. You don't trade. If you're trading another way, you're going to just lose all your money. You're just giving me your money. I'm going to take your money. That's it. Okay. You're giving people like me your money when you do that. So thank you. Okay. They call that retail. Don't do that, guys. And basically what's happening right here, we started these new little baby VWAP bands. We're holding above right here, guys. This is the 61.8% fib. As long as we hold above here, okay, which is our previous day purple line, which still keeps us in this trend to go up. We're still in upward trend now. As long as we hold 61.8 is key. Okay, and how did I get that? Well, if you go back to January 28th, okay, where's January 28th? Right here. That's how I got it. Oh, hold on. Right here. This one, right here. Right here, guys. This is where I got it. This peak right here. I pulled it all the way down. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit. I pulled this right here, price here, all the way down to the bottom of here, which gives me 100% Fibonacci chart from this top to this bottom. And what happens here? Well, what happens is once we get above this purple line here, and we keep going and we hold above VWAP, what happens is you go all the way up to 50. You can reject it 50 and start coming down, or 61.8 and start coming down. But the minute you hold above 61.8, you go all the way back up, guys. And that's all there is to it. And you come back up here and you start retesting all-time highs, okay? The only way we're going to start heading back down is if we can't hold this level, 29,900, okay? Above this, we just keep going up and we keep retesting all these zones until we hit a resistance level, guys. That's it. And that is if you understand what I'm explaining right now, you're gonna make a lot of money. You're gonna do it. Look at all these bands. You break underneath, boom, you drop down. You break above, boom, you keep going up. You break above, boom, you keep going up. You break above, boom, you keep going up. You can't hold this lower VWAP band, boom, you come down. You can't hold this lower VWAP band, boom, you come down. I mean, it happens every single time, guys. You can't hold this lower VWAP band, boom, you come down. You can't hold, I mean, dude, it happens every single time. Look at this. And now these lower VWAP bands become your support. Now this is your support. Now this one's your support. Now this one's your support. Okay, until they break. Look. And then it holds true all the way across. Look, it broke here. Boom, come down. You broke here. Boom, come down. It happened every single time, bro. So I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. If you have questions, let me know. Maybe I am missing something. I don't think I am. I feel like I'm explaining it pretty well. But if there is something I'm missing, I am human. I'm not perfect. Let me know in the comments, what am I missing? What am I not explaining? It's put your blue lines at the bottom and top of this. This is our range now, okay? Yeah, we can go a little bit above it on the first attempt and come down. Definitely reject. I'm looking for cells around these areas, okay? But the minute you come the second time or third time, boom, okay? You come down the first time, get the buy right here. Boom, get the buy, okay? But then the second time, watch out. This thing may flush. Or the third, for sure, the third time. Every time on the third time, flush. It's like that, you keep knocking at the same door, no one answers. You're gonna knock long enough, eventually you're gonna break through it. Okay, eventually somebody's gonna answer. You go knock on 1,000 people's homes and 999 people tell you no, at least one person gonna tell you yes eventually. That's kind of how this is. The same type of idea, guys. Okay, so I hope this video helped you. I'm trying to get this through everybody's head. Nobody's teaching this on YouTube. If anybody is, please let me know. Like I said, I found one guy that's teaching the non-VWAP bands, but he doesn't go into the extensive moves that happen. He doesn't explain how these trends work in the positive one and positive two bands when you stay in them. He doesn't explain how you trend down when you're in the bottom two bands. He doesn't explain when they go flat that you can range when you're in these three middle VWAP, upper and lower bands, that this is range day typically. Doesn't explain those things. Okay, he does explain, pretty much everything else that I'm saying, and that these are zones and you can magnetize to them, and that basically, price is trying to figure out what it's going to do throughout the day, and once it picks a side, like here, it, picked a side, boom, okay, it couldn't hold, so it picked a side and started trending downward. Okay, yeah, we get that. But the most important things he's missing are the expansion moves into new ranges, the big moves, and how to trade off of that, okay? So I hope this video helped. Y'all guys like and subscribe, share the video, make some money off this trading theory and idea that I'm doing. And let's go. Let's make some money, guys. Have a good day. Peace.